of the many things that I dabble in, one of the things that I dabble in is marriage counseling. So let's see if we can't help a couple today.
I need you to help me determine who is the crazy one in my marriage. So my husband and I have a rule called, if you care that much, do it yourself. Basically, it means if you have a super particular way of doing something that is grounded in no sense of reality, you need to take ownership over that and do it yourself instead of expecting your spouse to do it for you. So my husband and I are talking about this morning, and he looks at me and says, yeah, like the eggs. And I said, what? And he said, the eggs. You don't do the eggs right. And I said, like, I don't cook them correctly? And he said, no, you don't organize them correctly. And if you are like me, you have never once considered how your eggs are organized. But apparently, if you're like my husband, you think quite literally every day about how the eggs should be organized. So for me, when I need to pick an egg from the carton, I just choose one. But my husband explained to me that is wrong, because when you choose an egg, you should work from the outside in, so that it's always balanced. And I said, I've never done that. And he said, I know. That's why I always go behind you and fix it. 11 years he's been doing this, and I had no idea. Marriage is bananas. Hold your people close. You've got this.
Okay. Neither of you are crazy, but one of you is correct and one of you is incorrect. First things first, can we give the gentleman kudos, the husband kudos, for 11 years just living by the rule, right? If you care so much, then do it yourself. He's been doing it himself for 11 years, not bitching about it, not complaining about it, not bringing it up all the time, just going behind her and fixing it per his way of doing it. So he lived up to the rules of the marriage, in my opinion. No, I mean, everybody out there, can we give the guy kudos for that before we get into the rest of it? Secondly, you're wrong. It needs to be from the outside in. There needs to be balance. You can't just willy-nilly pick a fucking egg. That's not how this works. There needs to be balance. There's got to be an organization, like when you're putting cans in a pantry. Tallest in back, shortest in front, organized in families, right? Here are your soups. Here are your tomato sauces and pastes, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom, all the way down the line, right? When I'm doing dishes, I do dishes in a certain manner. I do dishes so that when we don't have a dishwasher in the house, we're old school up in this bitch. We have the dish strainer on the counter, and when you do dishes, it goes tallest in the back to shortest in the front, right? You don't put them all willy-nilly in there. And you got the 2 slots for the silverware. Spoons go in one, knives go in another, forks go in whichever one has the least. Tines down. There's just a way of doing things, and there's a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. And opening up a carton of eggs and just taking out any old fucking egg is just, no, God, does that give me the fucking heebie-jeebies? God, no. Am I on the spectrum? I don't know. Maybe I am. Who the fuck knows? But that, and what's mind-boggling to me about the way my brain works, that has to be the way it works, right? In the fridge, in the pantry. And I won't bitch. I'll just go do it the way I want it done. That has to be the way it works. However, in my office, I live in chaos. I got one of the biggest desks I could possibly find, and there is just shit all over. There's my lamps in the corner, my riser in front of me, just shit all over my risers, credit cards and gift cards and little notes and a little screwdriver and 2 combs and some microphones and some rubber bands and a bell to ring if you want sex and I want a blowjob candle. And then there's a stack of bills that need to be paid, and there's a stack of bigger things that need to be filed over here, and a stack of more important shit over here, and my ashtray with my doob and my drinks and my little mouse stand. There's fucking there's shit. There's Christmas shit still on here from Christmas and just chaos. But if you open the fridge or the pantry, you can't just take an egg out of the middle. The fuck is wrong with you?